Welcome into the Casual Gaming Conversation. I'm Connor. That's Nick. This is your weekly gaming podcast from Ep.94. We're doing a mid-year check-in, and we're going to do it through the Fantasy Critic draft that we did earlier this year. We're going to give you an update on that, but we're going to utilize that to kind of go over the games that have come out and the games that are yet to release this year and where we're at with those. And if something fell where we thought it was going to, score-wise on Metacritic, if it came out and was received well or worse than we thought it was going to. And then we're going to predict kind of what the future holds for the rest of the year. Nick, how are we feeling?
Feeling good, dude. Am I playing a lot of Death Stranding 2 right now? Nope, not as much as I should. Am I watching a lot of Season 4 of The Bear, Connor? Yes, I am. I forgot how much I love this show when it's good. You know, like Season 3, I was just like really solid in my opinion, but it was a classic thing that you hate to hear, which is, oh, it's just good when the first two seasons of that show are like 10 out of 10, banger, master. Season 1 of The Bear is like perfect, like masterpiece. And then Season 2, I think, has the best episode of TV and stuff like that. Season 4 comes around. Really good, dude. It's really, really good. And I last night I had the classic moment of, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm on episode 3. I'm gonna go to bed after one episode. It's 10 o'clock. We got an early shoot time tomorrow. Be responsible. I was up till 1:17 last night. Watched it. I didn't know that there was an hour episode in the season, Connor. All of a sudden I was like, yeah, like I'll get to bed before 1 and everything. And then there was like an hour and 10-minute episode just smack dab in the middle of the season. I'm like, gosh darn it. So I'm having a great time though.
Did you finish the season?
No, I have a couple episodes left.
What are you going to move on to next? Squid Game, the final season just came out. And I hear no buzz about it, which is weird.
Going to move on to Death Stranding 2. And if I get time to watch TV, it's going to be Andor next.
Yeah.
So
I gotta catch up on Andor. I gotta catch up on Squid Game. I gotta catch up on The Bear. I got so much TV to watch.
Did you watch season 2 of Squid Game?
But I heard it was good.
Yeah.
I've heard this is good too. It's just like it's not exactly lighting the world on fire like the first season very much so did. And then the second season I feel like had some buzz around it. But now this season the show is over now, and I feel like nobody's talking about it, which is weird.
I think part of it comes from the fact that season 2 really felt like season 2 part 1, and so this is like the wrap up where it's not as like enticing as like, ooh, we have no idea what's gonna happen next. It really is like, all right, like we know sort of where the season's gonna go because it feels like it's gonna be more of season 2 and everything. So yeah, I like Squid Game. I think it's a great show and everything, but I'm not as like dialed in on that as I think The Bear's like it might have fallen out of my top 10 like best shows that I've ever seen with season 3. It's right back in that top 10 conversation with season 4, and it's not because season 4 is as good as season 1 or season 2, but it is like, oh yeah, this show has the capability to like have these really well written characters and dialogue sequences that like can either make you cry laughing or just outright cry. Like it's so good.
I just need the show to not have completely peaked with season 2, which I've heard is the best of the show. And this is like a thing for me in all shows when the perfect example for me is Bleach, where I grew up watching Bleach and I got through the Soul Society arc and then came back to the show later, and I heard that the show kind of peaks with that arc, and it's like, I don't really want to keep watching the show then. If it's not going to get any better than this, it's like I might as well just end where I am now and kind of go out on a high note. If it's never going to reach this height again, I don't really want to keep going, and that's what I worried about with The Bear.
Season 4 does have an episode that is on the same level as the best of season 2.
Yeah, that's all. I needed to swing back in that direction, and I'll be back in.
I mean, I think this is a hot take before our hot takes and everything. The first opening episode of season 3 is a very, very slow burn episode. Like, and it's like very drawn out. It's supposed to feel monotonous. I think that's like the third or fourth best episode in the show. Like, and a lot of people aren't a huge fan of that, but it sets the tone of what that season is going to be really well. Season 4, really, really good stuff. Connor, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am playing a lot of Death Stranding. I'm on episode 6. Yeah. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Like I said in Casual Gaming News Conversation, it is definitely more Death Stranding, which is a good thing. But I'm kind of getting into the groove. I've started to build out some roads, do some side missions and everything. I'm really just enjoying my time with it. So
I got a question for you. It goes back to Death Stranding 1, and this isn't like spoilers for anything narrative or any real game mechanics. We talked about the needle drops in Death Stranding 1. Have you ever been like in a car or on a trike or just any like any vehicle and you go too fast so you don't get to listen to the full song.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
It happens too often, man. I mean, get that. If you know I'm on a tricycle, go faster, or like get the song on earlier or something, so I can. Literally, what I'm doing right now is a song will start playing. I'm on a bike and I'm like, I'm getting off and I'm gonna enjoy the song and walk it the rest of the way.
This is a very mild spoiler for Death Stranding 2, but if you're sensitive to that, maybe skip ahead just a few minutes. The music player in the game, like you can listen to music. That's a known thing. Like this was in previews and stuff.
Yes.
I don't like it. It hurts the needle drop moments.
Yeah.
Because I'll be listening to my playlist and then another song will interrupt it. That when you're coming out of that moment of silence really hits really hard when that music starts to play. If you're listening to a different song already, it's like it just hurts that moment. And I'm gonna refrain from using the music player I think, for the rest of the game. I think that would be like a cool feature for like doing the platinum. You know what I mean? Like that's just like when you're doing the really monotonous building out roads, like leveling up your the different relationships or whatever with the
I want to say outlets, but I know that's
I'm trying to remember the word
destinations,
exactly for
yes.
What they are.
The posts of some kind, yes.
Alrighty, let's hop into housekeeping. This show is made possible by our lovely supporters over on Patreon. You can get this show and the Casual Gaming News Conversation 3 days early, as well as a bonus episode of this podcast. Every Thursday, if you're at that lowest tier, we're doing a PS2 retrospective. We just did a whole discussion on Death Stranding 1, and there's a whole backlog of amazing podcasts there for you if you want to sign up at that lowest tier. At the $10 tier, you have Recollecting Retro, which we just posted a new episode going to vacuums and video games in Dayton, picking up a bunch of games, going over what we got, taking you through the store with us. And then there's also episodes going through different collections that I have, the PS2 collection, PS1 collection, the NES collection we haven't done a lot of the Nintendo collections yet.
No.
It's been all PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
PS3, yeah. So we'll do more of those in the future. So look forward to that. You also get the Co-op 64 podcast, our conversational podcast, where we each bring a topic, and you can submit your topics at that highest tier as well for an opportunity to be the fourth topic on that show. You get 2 additional bonus TikToks every other week. So you're getting a new piece of content once a week over at that $10 tier, along with the bonus content at the $5 tier. At the highest tier, as I said, you can write in for the Co-op 64 podcast, but you also get your name read at the end of each and every podcast. Over on the Twitch side of things, this week is going to be a little bit different. Me and Brady are off for the second half of the week, so we're just shuffling things around to kind of fit with that like weekend with the 4th of July and everything. Yep. Monday is normal though. Nuzlocke. We're going to be trucking towards the end there. I think 2-3 more streams maybe, hopefully, I say, and we're going to get team wiped, and it's going to set us back so far. I already know it.
It's been a really fun time with scheduling stuff because obviously we got like things like a vacation coming up next month and just some other things. And I'm like, I just don't schedule one day stream anymore. I don't know how long this is going to last. Yeah. Like it could be 2 more weeks. It could be 6 more weeks. It could be the rest of the year. I don't know.
I need to
look
up
a great time.
What the Elite Four, what the levels are for that. If you could hit me with that,
I'll start doing that as you continue on.
So then on Tuesday, I'm going to be streaming instead of Nick, shuffling that around. I'm going to be playing The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, 2 more streams on that probably. I have every item in the game now, except for like the stuff that you get by progressing the story, like all the optional stuff. The chat has been very helpful. Shout out to Crimson Zelda if you're watching. They have been super helpful on getting me different items.
It's 50s. It's 50s? It's 50s across the board.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like we need diversity on our team is the thing when it comes to types. I have like 3 water types on my team right now. So we need we need a fire type on the crew to kind of differentiate between
things out.
And then on Wednesday, this is your special stream. Nick and Brady promised that they would do the 999, which is a baseball challenge where you go to a baseball game and they're just going to be watching it here, and you drink 9 beers in 9 innings and 9 hot dogs.
This is what it's all about. Every now and then you ask us, what do you want to do with content? Like, We are a gaming channel.
This is what you want to do.
We are a gaming channel.
This is what it's all about.
But this is what it's all about. It is right before the 4th of July. Let's take down some dogs. Let's eat some hot dogs. Let's drink some. For Brady, I assume it's going to be Coors Light. That's his light beer of choice and everything. And let's hang out with the community and let's have a fun night. It's Red Sox Reds, which Red Sox are our favorite team. The Reds is Brady's favorite team. Is it weird that we're going to be doing this on a Wednesday in the middle of the week? Yeah. Is it going to be
Thursday and Friday?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it where the schedule lined up literally perfectly for us to have just one of the most ridiculous streams we're ever going to have. So the way that we have a system or a plan of a system of how this is going to work and everything, and hopefully it's fun. At the end of the day, it's going to be y'all hanging out with us as we drink beers and eat hot dogs.
How are you going to cook the dogs? You microwaving them?
No,
you boiling them?
Brady last time foiled them and put them in the oven.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you mean last time?
We ate some hot dogs during some sort of morning stream with him and I.
Morning stream.
You know what I mean. Like you start up at 10 a.m. We're going until 3 p.m. sort of deal. It was when we did the last year tailgate stream.
Oh yeah,
man, dude, time flies. I could have sworn that was like 6 months ago. That
was that for NCAA?
Yeah, NCAA. Yeah, we played cornhole, dude. The fact that like some of these streams, the one-off streams, I forget about pretty often because sometimes it is just that one-off stream. But like, man, this is gonna be one to remember.
One of my favorite one-off streams that I feel like we don't talk about enough is the Star Wars Battlefront Blanket Fort. That shit was awesome.
that shit was a good time, especially setting it up with the webcam and trying to load.
My back hurt so bad by the end of it too.
It was exactly what you thought it was going to be. Yeah. It was 2 grown men sitting in a blanket fort, hurting themselves and playing Battlefront 2.
And then on Thursday, back to normal, Nick is going to be finishing out Super Metroid. And then after that, you're moving on to
Super Mario Sunshine. Yeah. And the plan there is we'll take our time with it. We're not going to like rush it before vacation or anything. We'll just try to get it done when we get it done. But I hate y'all for making me do this, but it was one of those goals. And so we got to get it done.
You got 100% the game. Make him do it. Make him do it, Chet.
Nope.
If we hit a certain number of patrons, we will make Nick do the full thing.
No, absolutely not.
Discord, we have an amazing community over on Discord. Join up via the link in the bio. You can make friends, talk about video games, and just chat it up in there. Merch, we are moving merch stores right now, but so just hold tight on that, basically. We will let you know when we know more. And then last but not least, Apple Podcast Services. Leave us nice reviews over there. It gets the show out to more people, and we would really appreciate it. All right, let's get into the hot takes. I think I sent it to you first last week, so I will take the lead here. My gaming hot take is that it is totally fine to have one launch game, and using that as a huge negative against the Nintendo Switch 2, I think, is completely ridiculous when you have multiple examples of consoles that launch with 0 compelling launch games, and getting Mario Kart World a very solid, at the very least great launch title, in my opinion, I think is more than enough for the launch of a console. When you look at something like the Xbox 360 that had one of the greatest consoles of all time, had jack shit to launch with. It was a bunch of ports or like games from previous gens that were just running better on the Xbox 360. The PS3, Resistance Fall of Man, that game sucks. And then everything else on that console at launch was not very good. The PS2, another one of the greatest consoles of all time. Terrible launch lineup. So bad. And then you look at other Nintendo consoles where you get one solid launch title, and it's totally fine. You get Mario 64, you get Breath of the Wild, which I think Breath of the Wild is a watershed moment, once in a lifetime type situation. We're never going to hit a launch title like that ever again, in my opinion. You can also look at the PS4, which had multiple launch titles with Killzone Shadowfall and Knack, but like I would take Mario Kart World one game over those two any day of the fucking week. It's not even close. So I think that being like, you're getting a Switch 2 for one game, it's like, yes, but also we all know that you're not buying it for one game. I'm buying it for the games that are coming out for the rest of the year, and then for the future, for the next Animal Crossing, for the next Smash Bros. But like for now, I have Donkey Kong Bonanza in a few weeks. I'm putting my Switch down lately just because I'm kind of done with Mario Kart for now. But I know that there's games coming in the future. So, and I'm glad that I got the Switch when I did because I enjoyed my time with Mario Kart. So, yeah, the one launch title negative that's being thrown around at the Switch 2, I think, is really dumb when you look at the history of the game industry and how many consoles launch with way worse launch lineups than what we have here. So, yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, facts. Good job. I love this one. No, I think the thing 2.2 is the fact that people are having the expectation of the most recent example, which is Switch 1. They'd be like, Switch 1 had Breath of the Wild. We will never, ever, ever get another launch title that is arguably the greatest game of all time for many, many people.
But the more recent example, though, would be PS5, technically.
True, but
which
also
does have a very good launch lineup.
But can we also talk about the Xbox Series X launching with nothing? And so, like...
Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which you could play on the previous gen, too.
You just have to shrug your shoulders and be like, this is one of those examples of if you know the history of how this normally goes, it normally goes a lot worse than this.
Yeah.
And so I completely agree with this take. I think that's fine. I love Mario Kart World. I've been playing a ton of it. I did last night go and sit down and I was about to boot something else out, but I was like, I gotta just get some Mario Kart. But yeah, I'm very, very excited about like just the future of where Switch is going. You ready for my hot take?
Let's hit it.
My gaming hot take for this week is that 2025, halfway through the year, is officially looking to be a worse year in gaming than 2024.
Which is shocking.
So
coming
shocking.
Into this year, we were convinced it was going to be the best year in gaming.
Just to give you a little bit of a history lesson, last year at this point, we had games like The Lost Crown from Prince of Persia, Tekken 8, Persona 3, Helldivers, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Rise of the Ronin, Stellar Blade, Shadow of the Erdtree was right over the horizon. Awesome things like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Just like random fun titles consistently. Every like week there was something to play basically last year. And there was a ton of quality there. And then you did have your watershed moments, your like take over all social media moments with something like Helldivers, and then you had your high quality titles, game of the year contenders like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth so early on. A ton of fun, a lot of great stuff, and then like things like Animal Well on the indie side. There was a Balatro on the indie side. So many amazing titles so early in the year last year. Whereas right now it is being really like helped out by a few of the big dogs, and even the big dogs are not like, in my opinion, just across the board for sure better than some of the titles last year. Expedition 33, give that game a game of the year for like a bunch of different reasons. That game's awesome. Death Stranding 2, having a moment in the sun right now. Shout out to that game. Arguably the best looking game of all time. And then you have things like Monster Hunter Wilds and Split Fictions and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And like, these are all great to amazing games. I lean on on the fact that some of these games are amazing. Like, I think that Monster Hunter and Split Fiction are amazing. But when I go and I look at the games I've played this year, I just don't feel as satisfied as I did last year. And it's wild to say 2025 is looking more and more like the filler year that we thought 2024 was. And 2024, now in retrospect, is looking like one of the best years in gaming that we've had recently. That's my hot take.
Yeah, I just think this year is incredibly solid. Whereas last year, I think had some really high moments with early on in the year with Rebirth, Balatro. For me, Stellar Blade, I thought was amazing. And then you get Astrobot and Silent Hill later in the year that I think are better than everything that I played this year so far.
I really tried to focus this take to the first half of the year. There's not a chance that the second half of this year is better than last year's second half.
Yeah, we were making our most anticipated games list for the rest of the year, an updated list. We do it at the start of the year, and then we do it halfway through. And I'm making my list. And I'm like, I don't know, man.
No, dude, like there's not Astrobot. There's not Metaphor. Yeah. There's not Silent Hill 2.
There's nothing on there that I'm like, this could potentially be a 10.
Yeah.
And really like a 9, 9, 5. Oh, yes.
Bonanza good.
Yes, that's my most anticipated game. Yeah. Spoilers.
It's not mine.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh.
But then you have like smaller stuff that I think is really interesting, but I don't know what side it's going to fall on between good or great. Hell Is Us, Lost Soul Aside.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff that I have interest in, but I don't want to be a poser and be like, I'm excited for it, like Metal Gear Solid Delta, which I think is like really exciting for people who've played MGS3, but I haven't. I'm going to rectify that soon. So yeah, I think that I loved 2024 when it was, when we were experiencing it in real time. I was like, this is potentially one of my favorite years in gaming because there was nice gaps in between the big releases too, where you can kind of take some time in the backlog, play some retro stuff. But you were getting those like big banger moments with the games that I listed previously. That like the pace was just so good. And then when you were playing something modern, you were playing something really great. And then now it's like Doom the Dark Ages like came and went. Like, and we thought that was going to be like a huge moment for gaming this year. And I feel like nobody talked about it.
When I previewed that, I was like, you and I didn't want to like toss out anything too outlandish for a preview, you know, playing 3 hours. But like when we were just talking in private settings, I was like, dude, like this could be fucking unbelievable. And I'm like, especially if it evolves and it like just really is what it is. You know, that game is just freaking rad. You know, it's a great game. We both gave it 8s, right? Yeah. Great title, but you sort of are just like, yeah, we can move on and everything. And I think that's like a good way to tee up this conversation too that we're hopping into of like, what is 2025 thus far compared to something like 2024. So before we get into the nitty gritty, you're also feeling the same way on 2025? Great year and everything?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I'm just not like super compelled by anything necessarily. I think Death Stranding 2 is the moment for me right now. Yeah. Where I'm playing something where I'm like, this is really special. But I like understand that people are like really high on Expedition 33, so I think that can change the narrative for a lot of people. So
that's true.
For you saying that it's a hot take, I think a lot of people would say like stuff like Split Fiction, Blueprints, Expedition 33. Yeah. Those are games that are like really pushing this year up for a lot of people, and I'm just not as high on those games as a lot of people. I haven't played Blueprints. So.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to get around to No, you said since day one on that one. I do think
I can't do math.
I do think that I'm going to really enjoy at the end of this year when it does get nominated for Game of the Year. I still am thinking that that's going to happen. I believe we already have a donut bet on it.
Oh, and also Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which like, a lot of people hold in really high regard.
That game, talk about like gone and went sort of deal. I think that like Monster Hunter is more like gone. It's already out of the main conversation and stuff like that.
I think a lot of games that you would expect to kind of stick around, especially for something that's live service like Monster Hunter, to just kind of be out of the conversation really at this point is, and when it is in the conversation, it's in a negative light too. Yeah.
But there's also like, I think that the first half of this year, I've got a lot of what I want already when it comes to like my bangers and my hype and everything. I feel less good about the second half of this year than the first half. Whereas like last year, I was like the second half I'm more excited about than the first half. And we still, and it delivered, you know. I don't think that this second half is going to necessarily deliver as much as the first half did for me. I think
it really depends on those titles that we don't know for sure what side they're going to fall on. Silent Hill F. Like, is that game going to be great, or is it going to be another Silent Hill game that kind of just is a little bit middling?
My guess, and it is solely due to the fact that the Silent Hill series, it feels like, except for 2 remake that just came out, I always felt like and it might just be Silent Hill, a short message was the like one-off spin-off game for a couple hour experience. I feel like they right now are just doing this big push to just like get a ton of these fucking games out there, and I don't have a ton of faith in it delivering. I really don't.
Do not believe that Silent Hill 2 is the rule yet.
Yeah.
I think that it might be the exception. If Silent Hill F is great, then I'll finally kind of have some faith in the Silent Hill brand, the IP, that it's back. I hope it is, because I think that game looks really cool, but I'm not willing to be like, yes, it's going to be great because Silent Hill 2 was great. It's different teams, so like we just don't know yet.
Something that's not on this Vance Critic list, and I just want to bring it up now because we have the time, and before we get into every conversation that we need to have with so many of these games, Hades. Like, that's another one that, like, if Hades 2 gets an official release this year, I think that it will be a lot of people's game of the year.
We just got an update, though, right? Just recently.
I don't think so. Let me check in on that. What's your thought process with Hades 2 right now?
Like, I mean, like an update for the early access, like in-game stuff, not like a release date update or anything like that.
Oh, there is an update. Our third major update for Hades 2 is finally here. Yeah, June 17th. Holy shit. I thought that they said before this update that they were like, the next one will be the full release. So that is interesting.
I hate this shit so much. I hate the early access, like trickling out content. Just whenever the game's ready, just release the game. I don't really understand the point of this.
It gets more funding in on the game. Normally is the reasoning there.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that if Hades 2 drops and we're having a different conversation than we could about the entire industry. Where like I could see that being like, but right now, as it stands, we don't have a 94 or a 95 Metacritic. And then normally when you think about your all-time for video games, you have like person watching this right now. Imagine any like top games list. Guess what? If the game on top of that list has a 94 plus Metacritic, God of War, The Last of Us, Breath of the Wild, Red Dead Redemption 2, just like Astrobot last year. And then you just look at like even recent years and you point to whatever awesome fucking game that you played that year, it was your 94, 95, 96 Metacritics. Metaphor, Tears of the Kingdom, like all these games have that like crazy high score. And I'm just like, I don't know where we're going to get that this year at this point.
Bonanza's, I think, the only thing.
Yeah. And I also do think that like, right now we're in an interesting conversation. I will have the conversation. My hot take next week, a little preview about it. I just want to play more Death Stranding to solidify it. Is the fact that I do think that literally it's going to be nothing would beat Expedition 33 this year. Like I don't think anything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That I think that Bonanza could score higher on Metacritic, and it's the narrative around Expedition 33 that will help push it over the edge for Game of the Year of like small team turn-based
$50. Yeah, I think that we cannot sleep on that part of the conversation where like we this year's headline, if we were to do for the Co-op Awards the biggest headline in the entire year, I think it would be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe being $8, and like the way that that's going to shift the industry.
World?
Sorry, yeah, Mario Kart World. Sorry, and the way that that's going to shift the industry in the future and everything. And then I think that the other headline in comparison to that would be the game of the year is $50, and then you look at the games that are going to be alongside it is things like Split Fiction, $50. Blueprints is indeed it's on the cheaper side of things. Like a lot of these games are going to be cheaper. I think that narrative of like, hey, game of the year is going to be another under $70 title. That's pretty cool.
Another game that could hit 95 is Metroid Prime.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I don't think it will at this point for some reason. I think, but like. I kind of wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know. Those Metroid Prime games, like,
I mean,
really well.
Metroid Prime 1 is a near perfect game. And I don't mean near masterpiece. I mean, like, it's nearly perfect. The only issue that I have with it when it comes to, like, grading, it is the fact that, like, you are able to get lost. If you were able to guarantee every single time you go back to your ship, get the, like, dot to the next area that you have to go and pick up an item, and there was that guarantee in that game, I think that like the game would be perfect. Yeah. Like essentially across the board of just game mechanics, discovery, music, like straight up. It doesn't get better than that.
How do you feel about that game in comparison to Super Metroid, which you're playing right now?
Super Metroid's real good, dude.
Yeah.
It's really good. Music's unbelievable. Everyone's like, yeah, the music's great. I've perfectly got it so my monitor is as loud as possible without getting into the microphone and everything. Mm-hmm. It's the music's unbelievable. Super Metroid's really good. I can't wait for we're doing what we've been playing, I believe, next week and everything.
Oh,
I cannot wait to talk about what we've been playing.
All right, let's hop into the main topic proper. 30 minutes into the podcast. We are going to go over the standings of our Fantasy Critic draft that we did earlier this year. A bunch of games have now been picked up. You bid on the games. You have like $100 budget of fake money, and you bid against each other to try to pick up games to fill out your team. So a lot of games have been picked up from SGF and the State of Play and the Xbox Showcase stuff that has been announced and confirmed for this year. Have been added to teams. Stuff has been dropped because it's been pushed. But we're going to go, I think we do what has been released first for each team, and then we'll go through the rest of them after that, just top to bottom. We're going to go team by team and just talk about what these games scored on Metacritic and if they kind of met our expectations. And then we're going to talk about the stuff that has not come out and where we think that they're going to hit now that we know more release dates. We know we've seen more trailers for some of these games and stuff like that. So yeah, kicking it off, we have Bad Degree, winner of the 2024 season, was invited back because he won that league. Did a great job there. And his team so far has only one game that has released, and it is the Sea of Stars DLC, Throes of the Watchmaker. I haven't heard a single person talk about this. 87 on Metacritic.
Sea of Stars is rad, dude.
So I imagine the Sea of Stars fans are feasting, having a good time with this DLC. I'm just shocked that I haven't heard about it, or like I knew that it existed, but there's been no buzz around this DLC. So
Sea of Stars is at an 87 outright. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So it scored. It's as good as Sea of Stars. It's more Sea of Stars. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Good to see.
So I mean, I imagine that's just the case with this, with the lack of buzz around it, that it's just more Sea of Stars, and people are about that. And if you're about Sea of Stars, you're probably gonna like this. So yeah, I'll put that on your radar. But other than that, he has nothing else that's released. So let's just start at the top. Ghost of Yote was his first overall pick. We got that coming out later this year. How we feeling on Ghost of Yote, Nick?
It's one of my most anticipated. I think should be on everyone's radar of like, talk about a guaranteed slapper. It might be the most guaranteed game for the rest of this year.
I feel like I know exactly what I'm getting out of this experience,
awesome.
and I'm stoked for it.
Yeah.
I don't want to put this out in the ether and be wrong, but like, there's no way this game is bad. Like,
right?
And there's no way this game is just good. Like, this game is gonna be great.
Knock on some wood there.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, like I firmly believe that this is gonna rip, because it's gonna rip. That's what Sucker Punch does. Great teams make great games, and so I think that this is gonna be the moment for PlayStation's year to allow everyone to look back and be like, yeah, PlayStation's got some bangers. I feel pretty confident at this point that it's going to be there at Game of the Year season 2, like for sure.
Yeah, now I feel more confident about
100% at this point, honestly. But I think that even if it, for some reason, reviews similar to Ghost of Tsushima, it's going to be up there.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that it's really fun and everyone on that panel is going to play it because it's a PlayStation first party.
I'm not expecting a like God of War, Last of Us level experience from this, but I think that just one step below that, and that's perfectly fine, and kind of what I'm looking for here.
It's gonna be my favorite 8.5 this year, man. And like that's Ghost is. I'm not playing Ghost right now. I need to play Ghost in July, so it's perfectly in between Assassin's Creed Shadows, which we're about to talk about on the next team, and Ghost of Yote. So like it's gonna be right in the middle. And that was always the plan from the start. So I got to beat that sometime in July. But
I think this will be like around like an 87, 88 on Metacritic. And I predict that I'll probably give it somewhere in the 9s.
Yeah. Which
is what I have Ghost
exactly.
At,
and
so.
I have Ghost about 16 hours through that game around an 8.5. And so it's like, cool. Yeah, I expect more of that. And it doesn't not every game needs to be a 10. I just like a good year to have a few 9.5s in there, or not more 9s or a 10 in there, because it is a great year when you get more of that stuff. I don't expect Ghost to be that, but I don't think PlayStation in their portfolio needs Ghost to be that necessarily. I think they need to be a really well-selling, awesome video game, and I bet that it'll be exactly that.
Next up at the turn, so all the way at the 20th pick, he gets
Chris
Hollow
McCaffrey.
Knight. He gets Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Sorry, Hollow Knight Silk Song. Yes.
A risky play earlier this year, but it looks like it's probably going to pay off. That this game is, in fact, going to come out this year. We still do not have a release date, which I think is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I think that this is another game that I think could rate really highly. I think that, in my opinion, there is no way this game lives up. And I think that the long run up to this and the almost mythical status that this game has gotten is going to hurt it in reviews.
I do have some good news for you, Connor. I've downloaded Hollow Knight onto my Switch too.
Nice.
So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get through it. Not a great time for me with Death Stranding 2 and the Bear to download a 30-hour Metroidvania when I'm playing Super Metroid on stream, especially.
Next up,
but I want to hop in on this real quick. It's gonna be awesome. I'm convinced that this is gonna be Game of the Year. Or not Game of the Year this year. It's gonna be the one the 6th though.
Interesting.
I think that there is a chance. There is only one guarantee going to be there at the end of this year. As of right now, Death Stranding at 2 at this point will.
Those are the 2 guarantees.
Yeah. I think Split Fiction's on the bubble, potentially. For
right now, today?
No. By the end of this year. I think
it's 3 right now.
It is 3 right now. 100% it's number 3. But I do think that, if it's number 3 right now, we're halfway through the year, it probably makes sense that it will be there at the end of the year. I think that if Ghost comes out and Silksong comes out and some other great titles come out, I think that it might get bounced, which I think is nuts because I think that Split Fiction's the ultimate co-op couch game. Anyways, but I do think that Hollow Knight Silksong is going to come out this year. I think it's most likely going to come out in the next 3 months, 2. I think September is sort of where I have this one pinned at, or maybe early October, but September sort of makes sense to me. So yeah, I think that it's going to be big time. It's going to be a great time. Where do you think we see this at this point? Twitter?
Yeah, I think they're just really wanting to firm up that release date, and they didn't want to say it during the Xbox showcase. And if they felt more confident in it, I think we do get it during that.
Yeah.
I just don't think they want to put out a release date and then move it.
Yeah.
So until they're really confident, I don't think they're going to say anything. So now at this point, I think that on a random Tuesday, we're going to get this news.
I think that we will see it next at the next Nintendo Direct, and that's where we'll get the release date.
Xbox is doing Gamescom?
They normally have a presence out at Gamescom doing some announcements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It could be Keighley with Gamescom
well, I
too.
think that this thing is just this game is really linked to the Xbox handheld.
Totally. But I mean, it's showing up in a Nintendo Direct does show that it can show up in a Nintendo Direct.
But I think that you don't give the release date at a Nintendo Direct. I think you do it at something with Xbox.
If it's going to be, though, an Xbox event, it would be Xbox Partner Showcase. That's where it would go. There isn't really another spot for Xbox portfolio with the way that they do announcements. And I do agree that it makes sense of being tied to Xbox, but it's not going to be like...
You do a partner showcase, you get the release date for the ROG Xbox Ally, and you do the release date for Hollow Knight in the same thing. I mean, that would be the headline for it.
Yeah, that would be the best Xbox partner showcase ever. But
yeah, I mean, like it's not a first party game. It's you have like this strong relationship with them, seemingly similar to like that of like Remedy and FBC Firebreak, and that was shown at a partner showcase.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, we don't need to talk about Firebreak when we get to my team, Connor.
Dave the Diver, next up in the jungle. That is not coming out this year, so he's going to need to drop that if he still can. Next, we have Skate Story, which I've seen footage of. I think it looks really cool. Does this have a release date?
It does not.
No release date, so it's risky, but could pay off. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, I played at SGF. It's fucking awesome.
It's on my top 10 most anticipated this year.
I think that's going to score above an 85.
I think that this is sneaky. This is one of those, if you're playing Fantasy Critic, bid a lot of money. Like it's gonna fucking rip.
What does Shredder's Revenge have?
Oh, I think it's only 80s. It's like lower 80s.
I don't think that this is gonna be high 80s, and I don't think it's gonna be low 80s. I think it's gonna be mid 80s.
Shredder's Revenge. Let me make sure that this is. No, that's Dimension Shell Shock. That might not be it. TMNT. One sec. Go on to the next game.
Next game is Mouse PI for Hire. We also got to see this at SGF, hands off, but we got about 30 minutes of gameplay shown to us. I think this game looks really cool. I am very curious how it feels to play is really kind of a big factor, because I think that like watching somebody and actually playing the game are two very different experiences, because like the shooting and like the visceral nature of the guns and like how they're interacting and like knocking down the enemies, I guess it doesn't look like very satisfying in my opinion, but I think that could feel different if you're actually controlling the game.
85 for TMNT. I think it would be an 87.
Yeah, I think it'll be around there.
86, 87?
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it's lower because it's more dynamic for the different characters' playstyles for what you said and what other previews have said on it and everything. So, yeah, if there is a reason to go and like switch your character, and because that is a big part of that game is, you know, switching out your characters and everything. If there is just some reason to make it a little bit more dynamic compared to what Shredder's Revenge is, which is a classic beat 'em up,
Yeah.
I think that it could rip.
Where are you at for Mouse PI?
Oh, I think that's gonna be good. I don't think it's gonna come out this year though, and so that's a big part.
Does it have a release
I don't
date?
think so. That's one of
Second half
those
of
that
25.
if we were to get a release date, that's going to be in Germany with Gamescom.
Okay.
That's my prediction for that.
I could see it being like December, like right at the buzzer.
Yeah, that could check out.
I think that this scores like an 82, 83.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of style. I just don't know if the substance is there.
The game's got a shit ton of sauce, but I keep on going to the shotgun looking like a pool noodle and then like snapping it into shape and everything, and just like every gun that you rotate in and out having that animation. I'm like, visually that looks really fucking cool and I want more of that in my life and everything. So there is some things that we've seen that like are good hooks, but I'm not like stoked about this one, but I think that it looks good.
Do you agree with me on like how the gunplay looks? Like you know, like how in Doom, like it's very visceral. Like you shoot something and it explodes in front of you, and like you feel like it's like very tactical. Like you're really in it. Whereas like this, just like it lacked that visceral nature that I think you really need from like something like a shotgun, where like somebody like blows up or something. You know what I mean?
Visually, that's the case, but also I think that this game could do well on a DualSense, where there is a little bit of like pushback on the trigger or something with that shotgun to make the guns feel a little bit different compared to just visually.
Yeah, that's why I say I think jury's still out on this. I need to like actually get my hands on the game and see how it feels to play. But just kind of the read I got from watching the footage.
A lot of good there though. A ton of good there for sure.
Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I think that this game could be great, could be good. I don't know. We both played it.
I think it's very good to lightly great. I think that it's going to be around that 80 area if we were to predict a Metacritic. I don't think that this is going to be everyone's favorite kart racer this year. I do think that it will be some people's favorite kart racer this year, though. Yeah. So, and that's impressive. I think that you got to give that team some flowers, especially when this game, they're obviously having the advantage of going second when it comes to major IP kart racing this year, and you can learn some lessons. And I think with Mario Kart sort of fumbling the bag with their latest update and everything, there's a slot for this, and people could want something like that. And with the characters and that they have in this game, there's a lot to go and get excited about, for sure.
Another factor in Fantasy Critic is the counter pick, where you pick a game on somebody else's team that they drafted that you think is not going to do well or not come out. The goal is to get 0 points or minimize the damage to your team. Very rarely are you picking a game that it scores below a 70 in which you would get positive points for it. He picked, because he had the last pick, Borderlands 4. You're cooked, brother.
I think Borderlands, it's in my top 10 most anticipated. I think Borderlands 4 is going to rip this year, dude.
Yeah, we'll circle back to it when we talk about it, but I think that's going to be tough.
You're cooked, bud.
He currently has 17 points on his team, but a lot of games to come out still. Next up, we have Andrew with Final Fantasy Star Studios.
And fantasy spelled with a PH.
Yes.
I like that. I like that detail.
His first pick was Monster Hunter Wilds, and it paid off. 19 points on his team. This game reviewed really well. We kind of talked about it earlier, about just its staying power, and I felt like Monster Hunter World like came out with a bang and really just stuck around, and people were talking about it in a really positive light all the way through Iceborne, and then it got like a whole second wind from that, and I just do not feel that same sentiment is shared right now.
Connor, I might need to bring my PS5 up to Massachusetts for our vacation, because I'm hanging out with Matt for one day, and let's get a couple TVs together. Let's play some Monster Hunter Wilds, baby. I do agree that it doesn't have the staying power, obviously, that we thought it could have, in the way that Monster Hunter World seemingly did have a lot more staying power in 2018 and everything. With that being said, this game's awesome, and I want to go back to the first time that you get into a new environment and it is a new monster and you got the squad rolling in and you're just going crazy, and the communication's just unbelievable. And then all of a sudden, a random monster comes in and fucks up the whole situation for you and starts attacking that monster. Now you're fighting two. Like, the whole system of this game is so well done. How fluid the open world is, being like, yep, I'm just gonna go and take my sacred. Yes, cross the map and just get there eventually. You can do that, and the whole world looks unbelievable. It's one of the most beautiful games this year when it comes to those vistas that you get to see. Yeah, I really like Monster Hunter Wilds.
This is my least favorite 8 out of 10 from this year. Like, I think it's a great video game. I just it did not stick with me in a way that other games have that are at that same score. So
I think it's my least favorite 9 out of 10, but it's a 9 out of 10 for me still. When we do the Mulligan episode later this year, I'm not lowering this score for. I really don't think so.
I don't know if I am or not, but it's just I'm kind of. In the moment, it was really exciting and really fun to play with other people. It just has not stuck with me.
The big issue of just what we do is you got to move on to the next thing. Right. And I really wish I didn't have to move on to the next thing with Monster Hunter Wilds.
Next up, we have Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think this delivered what people were kind of looking for. And if you drafted it, you were probably expecting somewhere in the mid 80s, and it got an 81 on. Oh, this uses OpenCritic, by the way. So it's a little bit different than Metacritic, as it doesn't weight certain publications higher than others. Like IGN and stuff is weighted higher on Metacritic, I think. But OpenCritic, that's not the case. So Assassin's Creed Shadows, 81. You reviewed this one. I didn't play it, so I don't really have a take here. But this is kind of where I expected it to be.
I expected it around here. I'm lower on it than a lot of people. I had a lot of frustration with Assassin's Creed Shadows. It was not exactly what I wanted when I got it.
Be with the general public, though.
Well, I know there's people in the general public that love it.
Yeah, I mean, there's Assassin's Creed fans that love like Valhalla and Odyssey and stuff, and it's like, well, if you kind of wanted more of that with a little bit of evolution, you're probably going to enjoy this. But for most people who have fallen off of Assassin's Creed because there's a bajillion of them, it's like this didn't get them back.
Yeah. And I will say, if another Assassin's Creed comes out and it looks cool, sign me up. I like playing these games. Like, there is nothing wrong with a 7 out of 10 game. The game's good. It's good. I would recommend this one to pick up on a sale around Christmas and stuff like that compared to paying full price for it. But at the same time, if you want a 70-hour do everything type of experience, the open world is beautiful. The combat's pretty goddamn fun. Like, there's a lot of good there.
Next up, we have Little Nightmares 3, or that's it for his games that have come out.
Yes.
Next up, we have Little Nightmares 3. We finally just got a release date for this, October. This is not being developed by the same developer as 1 and 2. This is Supermassive Games. I think that makes me a little bit wary on where this is going to land. I think it's probably going to be in that low 80s ballpark, though.
Yep.
But it could be in the 70s.
Yeah, I could see anywhere from 89 to 71.
I feel pretty confident that Reanimal, the new game from the developers of 1 and 2, is probably going to review much better than this game. Would be my prediction. Chained Echoes, I know nothing about this game. Does it have a release date?
No, it also doesn't even have an image. Gosh darn it.
So we don't know anything about this one. Next up, we have Mina the Hollower, the new game from Yacht Club. Did we get a release date? We did get a release date.
We did, October something.
October 31st.
Ooh.
Halloween game.
Also, I need to add that to our schedule.
I think this game looks really cool. I hope that it's like a short, really solid package. Do I think it's going to hit in the same way that Shovel Knight hit? No, because I think it's doing something a little bit different, a little bit more niche. But I think that from what we've seen when it comes to the art style and the gameplay, and from the previews that people just got to play it, I think it sounds really interesting and really cool. I think this reviews around an 85, probably. I feel like I've been saying that a lot today.
By the way, I looked up Chain Echoes. I don't know what this game is. It looks like it's a turn-based game.
Yeah, I knew that.
I did not. You could have been like, this is the latest new Call of Duty game. And I'd be like, oh, sure, cool, run it. No, I'm excited about Mina the Hollower. art style looks gorgeous. It's showing more of that off in SGF. I think it was a mistake to not give that game even a larger spotlight, because when we're talking about SGF and what that showcase seemingly is at this point, let's go and highlight some indie studios. Let's go and highlight some really anticipated small fan bases, but very loud fan bases. I think that I said that I would prefer if that started out the show, and I stick with that statement. I'm looking forward to this one, and October's fucked, y'all. It's fucked. And like, when I say it's fucked, I mean it's fucked. And so I don't know if I'm going to get to it, but I want to get to it.
Next up, we have Crimson Desert, which I think got a release date leaked, but then was confirmed that it was not accurate, so we don't know, but it's slated for late 2025. I played this at SGF. This game could be a fucking 65. It could be a 92. There is so much going on in this game that my biggest fear with it and its reception is that it's just doing too much. A jack of all trades, master of none type situation, but it could just make it all work and balance all of this really well and end up being an all-time great open world experience. I don't know. And I played an hour of it.
That's the funniest part. And that was a sentiment for everyone leaving SGF. When every single press person gets an hour with the game and they genuinely are like, I have no idea what the reception is going to be on this one, it is a little bit exciting. I will say that. It's a lot better than, oh, that game's not going to deliver, because I think that it could still for a lot of people. But yeah, it was one of the most talked about games of the weekend for sure.
The game that I'm going to compare it to is a little weird because they're two very different games. That's Stranding. The reception on that is like, it's for some people.
Yeah.
And for those who it's not for, who are going to try it and pick it up and be like, this kind of sucks or whatever, and then review it poorly, that's going to affect, I think, the Open Critic score for Crimson Desert. I think some people are going to be really, really into this, and some people are going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Can we talk about the total switch up on Death Stranding 1? Even more so.
It's wild.
Even way more so than Death Stranding 2. Right now, it's really fun, the conversation around it, where people are like, it's a package simulator and like trying to like, but that voice is a lot less loud currently than it was with Death Stranding 1 by like a country mile.
Which is weird because it's still just that.
Yeah.
It really is. Like
the action in this game's way better.
I'm doing some combat stuff, but I don't really think it's like the focus of the game.
I agree that it's not the focus. The combat in this game, miles. I like,
really?
Dude, I played these games back.
I'm just running into bases and shooting guys.
And it feels way better.
Okay.
Anyways, it's a fun little switch up there though that I've started to notice, that I'm like, wait, why do people play Death Stranding like it's Metal Gear? Like they're like, I'm going back to play one of the classics. It's like, what? What's happening there? It's cool stuff though.
People were not about that game at launch.
Yeah.
I was defending it a lot on the internet for years, and it's totally flipped up, where now I feel like I might be lower than some people are on it, which is weird. It's one of my favorite games of all time, but like people are like really high on it.
We are less than 2 teams deep on this podcast, and we're almost an hour in.
It's gonna be a long one.
Hell yeah.
Next up, Keeper from Double Fine. This game looks awesome. I think this could review very highly. Creative, weird. I'm into it.
Somewhere in the 80s, baby. It's going to be a shit ton of fun. I'm looking forward to it heavily. Also, another one of those October games that y'all, October is screwed.
Next up, we have Kasumi Studios, Ali Benali. Oh wait, the counterpick. The counterpick. They picked Andrew picked Dying Light the Beast. They have 30 points currently. I think Dying Light the Beast is probably going to review pretty decently. So, but I don't think it's going to kill him.
Shout out to this team though, because I think that they are a sleeper in this league of somebody that could last second steal it if something like Crimson Desert goes big.
We've had teams that 2 teams now that have like no releases, no games that have released, like 1 or 2. Ali has 5 games released, 1 game counterpick that she can't drop that is not coming out. So she only has
I counterpicked it
3 games left to go, and I think they're all going to review pretty well. But her first overall pick was Mario Kart World. I think that you would probably hope that it would have reviewed a little bit higher. Like
it's at an 86.
It's at an 86 right now. I feel like we've talked about Mario Kart World a ton recently, so I don't feel like we need to go back on this. 86, I think, is about where it should be, personally.
Bit higher. It's soundtrack of the year. No one's talking. No, not enough people are talking about this soundtrack, y'all. Soundtrack of the year.
I agree, but I'm playing the racing game for the races.
I'm playing the racing game. The racing game is really fucking good. Anyways,
it's good. It's great.
But somebody was like, I have not brought this up yet on Mario Kart, and it's a fun discussion. Somebody was talking about the straightaways and the jumping mechanic and being like, is it faster to go and jump on water, or is it make sense to just like drive straight instead of holding R2 and then like hitting those little hops that you can? You drive the exact same speed. With that being said, if you are going and driving in a straight line while you're on the straight lines courses, you're playing the game wrong. You should be grinding. You should be wall riding. You should be going and transferring onto a speed boost and everything. If you want to make the game more boring for yourself and just drive in a straight line, go the fuck ahead. The game is going to be less fun. You're also playing it not the way it's supposed to be designed.
Well, Mario Kart also playing it in a way that is making you slower.
True. Yeah.
So like
you're not optimizing it.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is all about the drift mechanic. That is what it is. The whole game is about, and the wheels flipping over. This game is about the jump mechanic, grinding, wall riding, and stuff like that, alongside the drift mechanic. They found a way to evolve the gameplay and make it really good. I think the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe gameplay is phenomenal, but just a heads up of like, if you're really these fucking straightaways blow, I'm just driving in a straight line. It's like, dude, you are not playing the game. You were going, and then my question to that person is, are you getting dog walked? Because you probably are by comms. You're not even real people. If you're playing on hard comms, you're not playing the game with some level of like tact. You're gonna do real poor.
Next up, we have Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. Is this the developers of?
It's either Donut or it's the other one.
Yeah, I get those two confused. The other one's doing mixtape, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was that came with a question mark at the end. I do not know.
This game did not deliver the goods. Seemingly 70 on Open Critic. So
it is Donut
for Lost Records.
Yes.
Yeah, and then what is the Deck 9? Is the other one? I think
this is from,
or is it just a new team?
Artful. Is it the developers of the Artful Escape? Yeah, it's the developers of the Artful Escape. But who developed the Artful Escape?
I don't know. But Lost Records didn't deliver. 70 on Open Critic, so it gets you 0 points, but doesn't hurt your team either.
Shout out to the dev team of Beethoven and Dinosaurs. That is the name of the Artful Escape and Mixtape developers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, we have 2 Point Museum, which I don't know like anything about, but I know like what it looks like.
I watched Snowbike Mike play way too much 2 Point Museum. Great pickup. This is one of those sneaky pickups that you just go and understand. Yeah, it's gonna give me some points.
And another
85.
Another pickup of the year. Blueprints 89 on Open Critic. Great pick, Allie. Just what?
So upset with myself.
Yeah,
because
you were too.
I'm the reason. I'm pretty sure she picked it up. I didn't shut up about this game, and then I didn't pick it up.
You're banging the drum on it.
And this is. I'm gonna toot my own horn a little bit with Blueprints. I would not know about Blueprints unless I was watching other people's podcasts and stuff like that.
Right.
I say all the time that I try to be a student of the game. I try to be well informed on this stuff to be able to help y'all with the Fantasy Critic draft, or just like know what the fuck's happening in the industry and be able to talk about small, cool games. This is one of those that I would not know without studying some other stuff. With that being said, shout out to Allie for going and picking up. Maybe, by the way, I don't want to confirm that I am the reason. I don't know if that's actually the case, but I did not shut up about it. And then I did offer a trade, being like, we can make a trade. I'll kick you like 20 Fantasy Critic bucks and a game or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I expected it to be in that 90s area, and surely enough, it's at an 89 right now.
Another game that came out, had a little bit of buzz around it. It seems to have reviewed pretty well. 80 on Open Critic, The Midnight Walk. I would like to get around to playing this game. It's got a super unique, cool art style. Very spooky, very weird. But 80. That for your 8th player on your team. That's really solid. That's what you're looking for.
This is, you don't need to agree to anything. Do you have interest in streaming that potentially? 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I've heard 6.
Okay, my thing
streams.
is, my thing is, it could be 2 Wednesday streams, or I'm saying like bonus Saturday sort of thing, if we want to toss that out there. I'm just gauging some interest, but I have our calendar open alongside this too.
So I think that this team so far really solid.
Allie's going to win this league.
Persona 6 not releasing this year, obviously. Persona 4 Revival not coming out either. There was speculation on that. But there are other games that they have coming out for this year. Pokemon Legends Z to A. Pokemon Legends Arceus was counterpicked in a lot of leagues that I was in because a lot of people thought the game was not going to be good based off of what we saw previously from just like the trailers that showed like really choppy frame rates, and it was a new formula for the Pokemon genre. I think this game is going to review, I keep saying it, 85, which is what I think that Arceus is around. I think it'll kind of be in that same ballpark as long as it runs properly, and I think the Switch 2 will help it quite a bit. I wonder, would it pull the Switch 1 or the Switch 2 score?
Switch 2 score.
That's going to help this game a lot. Yeah. I think that'll be in that ballpark for sure.
Arceus is now at an 83. Okay. I'm stoked for Arceus. This is one that October is fucked, is what I keep on saying.
And another game here.
We'll get to that in a second, but like, I think one of us will play Arceus for review. Both of us will not be playing Arceus for review. We just got other shit we got to play.
Legends Z-Day, rather.
Oh, Z-Day, yes.
And then...
Oh, by the way, Arceus is at 83. That's why I kept on.
The Outer Worlds 2 also in October as well. Another game that I think is going to probably build on the foundation of the first one that is well-beloved, reviewed pretty solidly. I think this also has like somewhere in the mid-80s.
85?
Yep. And I imagine that maybe a little bit higher than that. 87, 88 maybe.
Maybe even that 86 area, dude.
And then
Obsidian, man, gosh darn it! Has anyone picked up Grounded 2 yet in our league?
I don't know. Is that going to come out fully this year?
The full release is July. Yeah, no one's picked up Grounded.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I thought that was like the early access.
I don't think there's early access.
And then we have Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment, another Nintendo IP game that I think is going to probably review in the low 80s. So that's what you need to do to win this league. You would ideally have something in the 90s to get you those bonus points, but
Age of Calamity's got 78 on Metacritic.
Yeah, I think low 80s.
So I could see it being a 77, but right now, normally the rule of Fantasy Critic is you can't make more than like 2 to 3 mistakes, and it looks like she's going to make only one really with Persona 6.
Well, then you also have lost records, but that's a 0.
A 0 is fine. Yeah. So, and like the counter pick's not going to come into play either, and so really it's going to come down to
can somebody else have one less mistake? I think is really
I don't think anyone can at this point. I don't think, even if somebody does, I don't think that they're going to get the points to compete with this amount of 80s. So,
yes. Yeah. Another thing that's going to help them, The Wolf Among Us 2 is not coming out this year, and that is their counter pick. So that's probably going to be a 0. 62 points right now. Allie crushing it.
They are the front runner to win the league currently in projections, and also they are the front runner in our actual points right now. So shout out Allie.
Next up, we have Princess Brady Studios. He has 2 games released. He has not picked up anything since the draft, so we got to get him on that. He has Fatal Fury City of the Wolves released, which has an 81 on Open Critic, 11 points. You and I played this at SGF last year. It's pretty fun. I think this has its audience. If you're into Fatal Frame, you're probably going to be into this game. 81. Yep. There's just so many fighting games to play outside of this that I think that it's hard to compete with stuff like Street Fighter and Tekken.
Yeah, it came out at a pretty solid time with Tekken's update coming out around that same time that turned a lot of people away from that game. But I do think that that's one that I wish I had time to hop into. I was reviewing something else like right when that came out. Maybe I go back and get to it this year because, I like a lot of fighting games. So
next up, he has Date Everything, which is having a little moment right now. I've seen a bunch of clips of this game. Looks really fun, really quirky. You can try to date everything in your house, apparently. The door is voiced by Ben Starr, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I do want to say, officially, Extra Life, the first goal that we have, is me and Brady do a Date Everything stream. Apparently the game you can be in like 2 hours. So
nice.
We'll get some beers. We'll play Date Everything. We'll have a lot of fun, because we're gonna try to date everything. Chat. That's gonna be a good time.
First overall pick was GTA 6, which I think is a solid first pick, but like unfortunately not coming out this year. So that's going to be a 0 on his team, and it was counterpicked, so he can't drop it. Then he has Mafia: The Old Country. I'm excited for this game, but I feel like there's a high likelihood that this game just does not light the world on fire, just comes and goes. But we'll see. I think we could be wrong.
I think range of outcomes is actually kind of pretty tough with this one, where it's like, I think it's either like a 72 or a 87. And I don't think that I would be pretty shocked if it hits that like 80 area where, it's just great. Like, I do expect them to either dial it in. This is Hangar 13, right?
Yep.
They know how to make a great Mafia game and everything. Or are we going to go and have this be a shrug the shoulder sort of moment for this year?
Then we have Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which I think the range of outcomes for that game is a lot less than you would say for Mafia. High 80s.
This
definitely.
This
got the sauce.
I don't know if Shinobi's it's on the next team. Both these games are gonna rip 80 plus for both those.
He counterpicked Assassin's Creed Shadows, negative 11 points. Not a bad counterpick. That's totally acceptable. He has 10 points currently. He's got to pick up more games to fill out his team. Another team that has their whole team filled out here is Concrete, Canadian Games, their first overall pick was Elden Ring Night Rain, which has an 81 on OpenCritic. Disappointing when it comes to the overall OpenCritic score, but goddamn, I love this fucking game so much still. Did you see the TikTok that I sent you? That is I sent Nick a TikTok from Parky's stream of them experiencing the enhanced version of the Gaping Jaw boss fight, the Night Lord. And I was like, I thought when they said the enhanced versions, it was like, okay, they're going to like just make it hit harder. No.
We're changing moves.
A bunch of new moves.
We're changing moves.
Like the one with where you have to use the slipstream or whatever it is to like fly into it. It's like that shit's so cool, dude.
This game's awesome.
This game's awesome. I love this game so much. Jacob just put out TikTok yesterday saying it's not a 7 at best, and I'm like, dude, 9 out of 10. I fucking love this game. It's my game of the year currently. I know that's blasphemous to so many people.
Connor, every now and then, has to bend the fucking knee. Where's the belt? I'm kidding. This podcast has gone too long to go. But like, who would have thought? And it just shows you got to go and try a bunch of different shit because you never know what's gonna actually hit. I do think that this game's awesome. I think that this is like my third favorite FromSoft out of the 4 I've played. So yeah. I really enjoy this.
You like this more than Bloodborne?
Yeah. I just don't want to say that out loud.
That is wild.
You want to know why? Because the bosses in this game are really fun and electric.
Good.
They're so good. And
these are like some of the best boss fights I've ever experienced in any game. Like some of these would probably be my top 5.
Yeah.
Multiple could be potentially. Like they're so cool.
Connor, somebody asked me in my chat the other night, when are you going to fucking play Elden Ring? Like,
me? I don't know, man. Andy's talking to me at work about it right now. He's playing through it because he's also playing Night Rain at the same time.
Nice.
He's really enjoying it. It took him so long to beat the first Night Lord.
It took us 9 hours or something.
And he's like, we're getting to level like 10 every single time. I'm like, dude, you gotta pump those numbers up, buddy.
Rookie numbers, baby. But no, like, eventually, you got to sit down and show. It's Death Stranding 2 right now, so you're off the hook for me pushing on this subject, but we'll get back around to this conversation in like at the end of October. Shit's fucked in October.
Next up, we have Atelier Yumiya. I know nothing about this series. It's a long-running series, has a lot of love for it, but it got a 79 on OpenCritic, rock solid, kind of doing what you're looking for it to do. Adam Fall, which I cannot believe came out this year. For whatever reason, I keep thinking this game came out forever ago. Totally came and went. 75. We'll get to this later. This was my counter pick. I'm stoked on that. I nailed that. That's about what you're looking for a counter pick. Do you have anything to say on any of those?
I wish I got to Adam Fall this year. And like, I know that sounds dumb because it's a 75 on open, but like, I like playing good games sometimes. It doesn't always need to be bangers. I think that if I could have done this year a little bit differently, maybe I would have played this instead of something else. And I know that would have meant I could have potentially missed out on a different game that it was great or even excellent. But like, I kind of wish I had time for Adamfall, just because people that do really enjoy that game really, really enjoyed it.
Next up, we have Roadcraft. I know nothing about this game either. What is this?
Dude, Concrete's going crazy with it, man.
It's got an 81, so it's rock solid. He's in the projection with 80s on a lot of these games, and if you hit that for all of your games, you're probably going to be in a good spot to win the league potentially. Yeah. For his other games, he has Borderlands 4.
Let's hop into this because I think that the conversation for you and I have changed around Borderlands 4 in the past probably month at this point.
Yeah.
I would have expected before we've seen anything this year that Borderlands 4 was going to be a 77 on Open Critic. 77-ish, so maybe 78. Like, I didn't expect great things.
Well, Borderlands 3 is like low 80s.
Yeah, I thought I was going to take another step in the wrong direction.
Really?
Yeah.
No, if Borderlands 3, which is like not well beloved, is hitting low 80s, I think that the core gameplay of Borderlands just has a floor to it.
Now that there's been people that have got hands on, now that we've seen a full on PlayStation presentation for it, I think that like I'm not thinking that this is going to happen. It's not going to beat nothing's going to beat Expedition 33 this year. I think if Expedition 33 didn't exist, it could be in that conversation of like that's the level in which I would not be shocked if this gets anywhere from an 88 to a 92. I wouldn't be shocked at this point.
Yeah, me neither.
And that's awesome. It seems that like Borderlands is back, which is pretty cool.
I was gonna be like, we're not reviewing this probably. There's too much coming out around it. Yeah. But now it's like, take two, send us codes, get us 3 codes. You, me, and Brady hop in together for a review, like to kind of manage our time a little bit better.
Yeah.
Would be very helpful.
Also, Marathon got the hell out of the way too, so now that weekend's free. Come on, come on.
That'll be a lot of fun to hop in with all 3 of us. Then we have Dying Light the Beast, which I think from the hands-on previews, I think it's going to deliver on exactly what it's setting out to do, which is be a supplemental, solid Dying Light experience after the a little bit lackluster reception of Dying Light 2. Get everything back on track, bring back a beloved character. I think it's going to be more Dying Light, though.
Yeah, I concur completely.
Shinobi Art of Vengeance, I think similar to Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. You got to play this one. Yeah. I think this is going to review well, so...
This game rips. This game rips, dude. And I part of me wants to do a review for this game, and if it is exactly what I played and is able to keep the pace of what I played and everything, I want the review to be Connor goes and says, Nick, you've beaten Shinobi Art of Vengeance. What is your score? Game rips, and then that's the entire fucking review. Yeah. Like that's that. It is. It's kind of like Shredder's Revenge to some level, where it's like there's not a ton to say here. I think that if you want to hop into what that game actually is, we can have a very fun conversation. But sometimes games are supposed to just be really fucking fun, and have style and have good combat mechanics and have great music and like. Game rips. It's awesome.
And if you want to talk about fast, fun, frantic gameplay, let's talk about Power Wash Simulator 2, another game that I think just needs to be the sequel to one of the most relaxing, beloved games of all time. Power Wash Simulator rules. I love the concept of this. I've barely touched it. I need to play more of it.
I will say Power Wash Simulator has this 75 on Metacritic right
What?
now. The VR has an 80.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
people fucking love this shit.
It is relaxed.
But I feel like it is what it is.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly. You're not people love like old. What's a game that you like? I'm trying to just make fun of you at this point. We're this late this episode.
We could just move on, then. We don't have to do it.
You know what? Yeah, we can move on right now.
But yeah, I thought people loved Power Wash Simulator 1, and I assumed that it reviewed well, but I guess not. So maybe this will hurt his team, but I don't think it will. I think that the narrative on Power Wash Simulator is what it is. You're hanging out, you're power washing some dirty cars or something, or in some instances Midgar or Bikini Bottom. So I think that if it has like quirky, fun stuff to power wash, it'll do well.
Yeah.
Silent Hill F. We talked about this earlier in the podcast. Total toss up.
Yep.
We have no idea.
Yep.
I hope that it's great. I love Silent Hill 2 Remake. I want Silent Hill to be back. If this is great, we are so fucking back, because then we have Silent Hill 1 Remake around the corner in the next 2-3 years probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope this game is great. I think it looks really cool.
Hell yeah.
They counterpicked the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remaster. I think that this was counterpicked at the start of the year because we didn't know if it existed or not. 82 on OpenCritic, not crazy, not super great, but not doesn't hurt your team that much.
He got his points in his name. It's Daddy, and Daddy got his points because he got his points.
25
Oblivion
points.
Remastered for 2 shoes, and Connor's gonna eat a big old piece of poo. Oh,
Okay.
boo, da boo, da ba da da ba.
25 points for Concrete, doing rock solid. Get Good Gaming from Alex the Golden. They their first pick was Doom: The Dark Ages. We talked about this earlier as well. A
Great
game
first
that
pick.
reviewed solidly, 85, doing what you're looking for it to do, but just did not light the world on fire like we thought it could. It didn't have a Doom Eternal type moment where people were like, this is one of the best first-person shooters of all time. I think it's a great video game. An 8 out of 10. I understand the 85 score, though. Feels great. It's just so fun to fly around these battlefields, slaying demons. So, yeah.
We've talked about this next pick a lot, Claire Obscure. He's got the goatee.
92. Yeah, that is a essential piece to his team, I think, because after that we have Revenge of the Savage Planet, 80, rock solid. 81 for Dune Awakening. We know nothing about this game, really.
Dude, apparently just Andy Cortez, who's kind of funny, friend of the channel, fucking loves this game. That's all I hear about it. It's really addicting for the people that's really addicting to, and I don't know
don't like survival games at all.
Well,
Survival
Connor,
MMOs.
Connor, you want to know what I've sort of realized? We've through certain conversations we've had. You're like, I'm not a crafting guy, like I'm not into these like world crafting games, but you love the menus and systems of things like The Last of Us and Resident Evil, where like you like the organization, you like the. Like that concept worked for you really well.
But
so
it's in tandem to something else. It's not the game. Except
know, but
if
like,
you're playing Resident Evil 4, which the game is.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you argue all the time. So maybe we need to just find the right one for you. Because
that's the case with all of these. Roguelikes, I don't like roguelikes. I fucking love Elden Ring Night Rain.
It is a roguelike. That's so interesting.
And then for his team, I think that the big problem here is that he has a lot of games that aren't going to come out. Professor,
I just realized I just saw Kingdom Hearts 4.
Professor Layton, does that have a release date? Nope. No release date. 2025. Mecha Break.
It does. That's July.
Yeah, which that's like a free-to-play game, right? But I think people have liked what they've played so far. Unannounced Chrono Trigger remake. There was some swirlings around that, but that's not coming out this year.
No.
For sure. Kingdom Hearts 4, no. I mean, don't give me hope. And then Anno 117 Pax Romana has a release date, November 13th. I know nothing about that game.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Let me look this one up. Maybe
did counterpick GTA 6.
Smart.
So that gets him 0 points, which is what you're looking for a counterpick. 60 points currently.
Anno is a city building real-time strategy game. So could review well, could review not well.
60 points puts him in second place right now, right?
I believe so.
Which I don't know how many more points he's going to get. Is the thing. He might be capped out.
But normally in this league, like you get to 90, you're doing really well. So
next up we have Vorpal Matt, Macro Stiff Corporation.
What was the wow that you just you scrolled and you went wow? Is it the Sid Meier's getting only 9 points?
Yes.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. Sorry, Matt. I interrupted your intro, but I looked up after typing in Anno and seeing what that game was all about. To Connor just going, hit me with his best Owen Wilson. Wow.
Yeah, I'm shocked that Sid Meier's, their first overall pick, Civ 7, has a 79 on OpenCritic. I thought this game reviewed way better than that.
I thought it reviewed 81-ish, 82-ish.
I do feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of these Civ games come out not the best, and then they get patched or get like a major update or expansion, and that's really kind of where the game goes to the next level and becomes something that people come back to. But I feel like Civ fans are going to come back to this game no matter what. Like if you're into Civ, you're into Civ, and you're just happy to get a new one. So I think the Civ audience is probably pretty okay with where the game's at, but the review's not the best. 79, not terrible, obviously, but gets you 9 points there. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, 19 points. That's huge. This game, not for either of us, but did you ever buy it? You were talking about it.
It's so nice that I get to say this while I'm on review right now. I just don't have time. And like, I don't have time for the games I want to play, let alone the games that I don't like. I need to play Hollow Knight before Silksong comes out, and I just don't have the time.
It's 30 hours too.
It's gonna take a fucking minute, dude. And like, but
you also suck at games, so you'll probably get stuck.
Dude. I blow at video games. It's gonna take me 74 hours, man. It's gonna suck.
Then you have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. For this, it's the same as Dragon's Dogma for me, where I know that if I were to buy it, I probably will play it for an hour or two and be like, this isn't for me. I don't even need to play it to know. I keep spending money on games that I know that I'm not gonna like very much, or like they're not gonna be for me. And that was Dragon's Dogma last year, where it's like it had all this buzz around it. I'm gonna check it out and try to really get into it, and I'm not about it. And it's the same with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. No disrespect to the game, we've talked about it so much on this channel at this point that like I just know it's not for me.
Yep.
And I get that it's for other people, and I'm glad that they like it.
Please do not get nominated for Game of the Year, because then I will have to play it.
Citizen Sleeper 2, 87. People really like the first one. Not shocked about this result, honestly. So
this is people's goatee right now. Like multiple people in the industry's goatee. Like,
how long is it?
I think it's relatively short. 12 hours, 15 hours. I don't know.
Yeah. If it's short and I can play both the first one and this one in like kind of close proximity and get through them, I might check it out. Or do you need to play
17
both
hours?
Of them?
17 hours.
Okay, that's long.
Yeah, and Citizen Sleeper 1 is 13, so 30 hours a game. But like my thing is like I'm trying to figure out to some level if some of these games are worth going back to. And so get in the comments, let if you want to bang the drum for Citizen Sleeper 2, Warble Matt did a big job on that for when that first came out, and he was like, this game's fucking awesome. I like that he to some level seemingly did draft with his heart, like because that's a hell of a pick.
Matt is tuned in to the indie scene what I've noticed just from interacting with him in streams and Discord and looking here. It's like, okay, we have Wanderstop next, 81.
Yeah.
So that's doing what it needs to do.
Stanley Parable, developer.
I have no idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it's completely not the Stanley Parable. Apparently, it's a like cozy coffee game.
Next up, Demon School. Just from the cover art, I think it looks really cool and interesting. Another smaller indie title.
Does that have a release date?
It does not. Summer 2025, though. So
we'll see.
We're in the season.
We'll see.
Trails in the Sky, first chapter. I think this is it must be a remake because Trails in the Sky is already a thing. But I think that it might have been.
It is a reimagining.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and that does have a release date, September 19th. And people love the Trails games. I don't know anything about them. I own Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 on Vita. I would like to get to them at some point. I know that the people who love Trails really love Trails. But it's a meaty series to get into. I don't know if this is a good place to start, but put that on your radar. Unbeatable, another indie game that I know nothing about.
Dude, this Unbeatable game looks sick.
Yeah, of course it does. It's on Matt's team.
There's some rhythm to it. Holy shit.
Nice.
Yo, Matt, hit me in the Discord gaming chat and let me know if there's a trailer or something that I need to see, because this looks awesome. It also looks really up my alley of obviously rhythm games and then cool art styles.
And then we have Heartworm, another indie title that I know nothing about. So there you go. A lot of indie love on Vorpal Matt's team. We might have just put you on to some hotness to keep on your radar. So look forward to a lot of those if you're interested in the indie scene.
Sorry, were you about to move on?
I was going to do the counter pick.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But yeah, Resident Evil Requiem, not coming out this year, so that was the counter pick. 56 points on Vorpal Matt's team, doing rock solid in the game for sure.
I would not be shocked if, even with a blunder when it came to Civ being their first pick, it 100% could still work out for them.
Next up, we have my team, Organization 13 Inc., Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, 82. That reviewed less than I thought it was going to, if I'm being perfectly honest. I thought it would be high 80s, but spin-off Yakuza title. I think that people like this one, but definitely something that kind of came and went.
Yeah.
But there's just so many Yakuza games.
Yep.
So if you're not like one of the greats, I don't think that it's going to be talked about in the same way.
It's going to get an 80 plus. The question is it going to land on that 89 area or an 82?
Next up, we have Rift of the Necrodancer sitting at an 80.
Another one that I just really wanted to get into.
Yeah.
Like, this was one that I would try to find some time, and then I think that this was late January and everything, and I was about to download it. I think it's the night that we got codes for About and everything, and I was like, well, I can't wait for About. I'm super anticipating that one. So, yeah.
This is on my radar. I don't think I'm going to get to it, but I know that Crypt of the Necrodancer is really well beloved. This is a little bit different with the way that it presents its like rhythm-based gameplay, but I think it looks really cool. Those are the two games that I have released. Then we have Metro Prime 4 Beyond, which I think is going to hit this year. I think that should have been my first overall pick, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that's going to hit in the 90s, hopefully. We have Replaced, which is not going to come out this year. I need to drop that one, probably. When the fuck is that game coming out? I feel like this game has been in development forever. Is it ever going to come out? Is this Little Devil Inside?
I was about to say it's going to come out when Little Devil Inside comes out, dude.
Next up after that, we have Luminous Arise.
Well, welcome to 87 plus, at least.
I bid a ton of money on this.
75
this
bones,
game
right?
rules. Yeah. I played it at SGF. If you like Tetris Effect, if you like rhythm games, I think this is going to be really special for just this therapeutic, put headphones on, really lock in, and just let the time melt away.
This will be somebody's game of the year.
Yeah.
It might be Connor's.
Next up, we have Sword of the Sea, same developer as Abzu, former developers of Journey, I think, are on this team as well. I think this game looks like basically a spiritual successor to Journey. We did not get to play this one at SGF, but it's on my radar. I think it looks really cool. I don't know if I'm going to get to play it, but I think it'll review pretty decently. My counter pick was Atomfall, as I said earlier, -5 points. I have 17 points on my team right now. Not great, but
you're kind of in it if you make some good pickups.
We'll see. There's going to be stuff that's announced.
September Direct, September
that I
State
think
of Play.
could end up hitting for my team. Next up, we have Locust Studios. It's Michael, who their first overall pick was Split Fiction, 20 points, really great first overall pick. Hit, I think higher than I even thought it was going to. So 90. There's very few games this year that hit in that ballpark. So, do you have anything on Split Fiction?
I love it. It deserves a 90. I think that this might be my benchmark for what a 9 out of 10 is to me. The game is just amazing, and I don't think that it's this watershed 10 out of 10 masterpiece, but I'm going to look back on that experience with Brady as not just one of my favorite experiences I've had with Brady, but just one of my favorite experiences I've had gaming with somebody next to me on the couch.
Next up, we have the first Berserker Kazan, which a lot of people really banged the drum on earlier this year and really enjoyed. I just feel like it did come and go a little bit, where it had its moment in the spotlight, and then I feel like I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. 81 on Metacritic, another Ben Starr joint. He's everywhere right now. Then we have Liza P. Overture, 85, reviewing really solidly right now.
Apparently, that feels low for some people.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I've heard about some of the storytelling. I've gotten glimpses of it in Andy's stream and stuff like that. I don't want to ruin the story for us because we will be streaming it later this year. Brady will be on the sticks and everything, playing Liza P and Overture. The only thing that people are criticizing is the length for what I've seen.
It's too short?
Yeah. It's
12 hours, right?
Yeah, which apparently people want more.
How much does it cost? $20?
I think 30.
Okay.
But still, shout out to that game. It apparently is awesome.
I paid $50 for $40 for Lost Legacy. That's an 8-hour game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like we talk about DLC and the price for it totally differently depending on the developer and kind of in length in comparison to an actual game. They're completely different conversations, even though they're the same length oftentimes. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Then for games that have not come out, I think he has an incredibly solid team, an incredibly solid slate coming up with games that are guaranteed to be coming out, like Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, August, 80s, high 80s, low 90s, probably.
I'm going to I'm trying to think about our published schedule. It doesn't matter. It's my most anticipated game for this year.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, is it the boring answer? Yeah. It's fucking boring. Is it the right answer for me? It's my 7th favorite fucking game, dude. And it's getting remade. It's been 21 years since it came out. Like, as much as there's a lot of games that don't need to be remade, and I think the game still plays unbelievably well, just like tighten a couple of those screws, and it's like, yeah, it's gonna be a 90 plus. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It is. You're remaking, for a lot of people, their favorite game ever. Arguably Kojima's best game ever. Like, and I think that some of these twists and turns that you go on with Snake in this game is going to hit as for first time players so fucking well. The game still rips better than 80% of the Mission Impossible franchise. Like, it's just awesome. I cannot wait for this.
Next up, we have 2XKO, which I do not think is going to come out this year.
I don't either, which is super sad.
That's the only game, though, here that I think is probably not going to. So, like,
interesting. There's one that I also think is not going to. Yeah, I don't think Dispatch is coming out this year. It did get a trail or a demo recently, but yeah.
Right.
Shout out to Dispatch, though.
Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D remake. I think this is low 80s because 3 was mid 80s, I believe. And I think that 3 is just a more fleshed out, better experience. 1 and 2, obviously, you're building to 3. So I think that's going to hurt in review scores, but I think it's going to do what you're looking forward to do. Dispatch, as we just said, that's the Netflix game.
Netflix?
Published, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was published by Netflix. But no, when I see this game, I think of the cast is going along with it and everything. It seems like they're going down an alley right now that normally hasn't been done recently. But choose your own story type deal, go in, have this crazy wacky world. Let's get a bunch of awesome voice talent in there and have a good time with it.
Lost Soul aside, Hell Is Us, I feel like we can kind of bunch these together of games that could fall on either side, as we talked about earlier, that I think that these games could be great and fill out the year in a way that the Stellar Blade did last year, or they could fall by the wayside and not end up being stellar experiences.
Ghost of Yote's counterpick. It did not have a date at the start of this year.
Yeah.
It was slated for this year. I think that's the thing that takes him out of contention. Sadly, because this team's awesome outside of it.
45 points currently. Moving on to Big McDonald's Game Farm, we have Big Mac. His first pick was Avowed, which I feel semi-responsible for because we were really tooting the horn on this one.
You were. You were really excited.
I was really excited.
I was looking forward to it, but Connor's like, this is one of my top 5 most anticipated. I was like, damn.
Which did give you an 80. Not bad.
Yeah.
But I stand by the fact that I think this is a great video game. I think it's currently like my 5th on the year. I think
so excited to see where you put Expedition on your GOTY list for this current iteration of it.
I feel like you know where it is.
Yeah. It's such an interesting conversation.
Next up, we have Death Stranding 2 on the beach, 90, 21 points. I guess it probably
you can turn on decimal point mode and it will show where it's at, like a 90.6 or something.
Okay.
And then it rounds up.
So he gets that extra point. This is reviewing about where I thought it was going to. So I'm excited that it's hitting for a lot of people. I think that it benefits from coming second where people already know what Death Stranding is.
6 hours in. Yeah. 90 makes complete sense. Maybe even bump it.
The Altars, Jacob Stevens' favorite game of all time.
He's banging the drum on that one, man.
He's been talking about that one for a while. A lot of people really digging this one. 86, very unique title, seemingly. I don't think we're gonna get around to checking it out, but I think it looks really cool, and it's for some people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Rematch 74.
What the fuck happened? And by what the fuck happened, I mean, also, why is this not reviewing better? Because the whole conversation that I've seen, this game's super fun, and it plays really well. And even when you're playing solo, it's still really fun.
The only thing I can imagine is that it's not balanced or something.
Yeah,
or people aren't playing the game properly. I've heard like passing is a big issue. Like people aren't passing the ball and like working as a team, which is that a flaw of the game? Is that a flaw of just people in general? Like, I don't know.
When you're playing Rocket League, you know to pass the ball and everything and not just solo everything, right?
Some people will kind of ball hog,
but even then, that's not on I'm just trying to make that comparison of what you're doing there. So that's interesting. But I feel like I led you astray, Big Mac. I'm sorry.
Next up, we have Judas, which is not coming. We're going to the games that have not come out yet. Judas not coming out this year, unfortunately. Killing Floor 3, I think got pushed, but is still coming out this year. People really love the Killing Floor franchise. I know nothing about it, but I know that a few people have poked into our Discord and been like, "I'm really excited about this Killing Floor game," and I'm like, "Cool." Like I don't know much about the series, but I'm excited that you're excited. The Wolf Among Us 2. Don't think that's coming
out.
I want it to come out so badly.
Show me The Wolf Among Us 2. Not happening.
What's going on with that game, man? I need it in my life.
And guess what? Big Mac, Connor will pick it for you next year, buddy.
Do you think it ever comes out?
Yes.
Okay. Next up, we have Kirby Air Riders. This is going to come out this year. You would hope.
Did you see the news story about Sakurai and Nintendo like parlaying Kirby Air Riders into another Smash Bros?
Yeah. I don't know if I believe that. That's like I don't know.
I 1000% believe it.
It's very like TV writing drama.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
but let's
sounds scripted.
Here's the thing. Yes, it does sound silly for those who don't know, and there's a reason we didn't like put this in casual gaming news conversation because this wasn't an official news story or anything. But apparently, Nintendo and Sakurai were having a conversation where Sakurai was like, "I don't want to do another Smash Bros. I want to make Kirby." And they're like, "We'll let you make a Kirby Air Riders game if you make another Smash after." Which there is so much money on the table for Smash Bros. Every single Nintendo console will have a Smash Bros.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think they would end up giving it to somebody else if you said no?
Yes. Blank check them. They would, but yeah, they would just toss a blank check his way.
Yeah.
And say, write a number in and then make another Smash Bros. I don't think that they want to trust that with somebody else at this point because he just knows. You know, he knows what's up. Yeah. He knows what the pulse is. I also think that they are in a spot where they're like, we don't want to put a creative swing on Smash Bros, which I think they're going to have to get creative with this next one without your approval on it. We don't want to give it to another team and then also have it be something that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know?
Next up, we have Cairn, which is the climbing game.
Yeah.
I think this game looks cool, unique. A lot of climbing games recently, I feel like.
What did Toussaint get?
I have no idea. But while you look that up, he counterpicked Hollow Knight Silksong. He currently has 51 points. He is cooked. If Hollow Knight Silksong comes out.
It will. Toussaint got an 85. So, if this is another cool climbing game, then I can see it doing.
I think he has a solid team for what has come out, but I think he's cooked in the fact that I think a lot of these games are not going to come out. And that's going to
I think that 3 of the games will. It is the Wolf and Judas won't, and then also Hollow Knight's going to drop you down. So I think that he could like reach an 80 point with those 3 games that are going to come out and everything, and then it's going to drop to a 62 when it's 18 points against him.
Nick's team has the unannounced mainline. Oh wait, let's go with the
release games.
The release games first. South of Midnight 77. Bummer, man. Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You have the people like me that are super high on this one and in 88.5. And then you have the people that are and I don't think that you're wrong for it. It's so gameplay centric. And I really think that the core gameplay in that game is either you're not having fun or you're having just enough fun. And if you land on the not having fun, 7 out of 10 makes sense. And if you land on the you're just having enough fun like me, 8.5.
What if I had just enough fun and I'm in that 7 range still? I had just enough fun with the gameplay. Like, it's fine.
The gameplay is taking it down though enough for everything else that's in there.
Yeah,
because everything else that's in there is so good, and I think that people are also sleeping on the platforming in that game. Platforming in that game is a blast.
Nick then picked the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake, which is now the remaster. It got you 12 points.
Give Daddy his points. I'll take 12 points.
Which is like
from
nothing.
Oblivion remaster. Yeah, I'm kind of happy that it didn't go like 90 plus because I felt bad for Concrete.
I played this game. I enjoyed it. I think that 82 makes sense though with It's really just a fresh coat of paint. It is not like a full-on remake. The remastered terminology, I think, does make sense in the regards to there's like still the bugs that like you can recreate the exact bugs in this game as you can in the original version of it, which I think is really kind of silly, but also keeps that charm, like they said. I recommend The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, of course, but I do think this game did kind of have its moment, and then people moved on from it pretty quickly. FBC Firebreak, tough, buddy.
I'm like so perplexed by this one, where it's like they did a great job marketing it. In my opinion, they made it so clear, being like, we are not going to be a forever game. We do not want to try to be a forever game. We want to be a game that you play for one weekend or 2 weekends with friends and move on. This game needs more Remedy sauce in it. There's not like notes around the map or anything that goes and clues you in on Control 2 or Alan Wake 3 or anything like that. And I think that the Remedy people that love these games for that aspect, they should have been better served. With that being said, minus 6 points is pretty tough for your boy.
64 on Open Critic. Next, we have all the games that have not released yet. Unannounced mainline 3D Mario platformer.
I've tried to drop this 2 different times. People keep outbidding me. But I'm only going to drop it for something that's worthwhile to drop it for, because you have one unconditional drop.
I'm shocked that nobody counterpicked this, honestly.
Why would anyone counterpick it?
I guess that's fair. I mean,
the Switch 2 is coming out.
There was rumors that it was a Donkey Kong
game.
game.
No, it's still, we thought that it could be a Donkey Kong and a Mario game.
True.
But
next up, we have Ninja Gaiden 4, which I think is shaping up to review pretty well. I think it looks great.
The people that have got hands on with it said that it's unfucking believable, and I'm expecting 86 to 90 area.
Mixtape. Do you think that could hit in the 90s?
I think it could. It's not going to come out this year, I don't think.
Really?
At this point.
Because we have no release date yet.
We don't have a release date, and seeing that at SGF, it's like, okay, are we going to do Gamescom or a PlayStation State of Play and release it November like that, or October? I if I'm them, I don't want to compete with October. I think it would. This is just like, I want this team to succeed, and I want this game to succeed. It's going to be awesome. This would be a great January game. Put it out in January. It's going to lower the competition a little bit. Get out this year. Have a moment to kick off the year strong. So, but if it does come out this year, I do think that like, we are talking 85 is sort of where I'm actually landing. But I think that it would be a strong 85.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. What does 1 and 2 have? Do you have any idea?
It's very high.
Yeah, I imagine this is going to review pretty solidly as well. A lot of fun cameo characters. I wonder if we'll see more to the lead up. This game's about to come out, though.
Pro Skater 1 and 2 is at a 89 for PlayStation 4.
Damn.
For that edition. And then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, 3, like for the OGs, are at a 97 and a 94.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering what Pro Skater 1 and 2 are at, it's a 92 and a 91. So it's a 2-point decrease from...
I think it's going to be higher.
I don't. I think the discussion around this game and the way that they've made certain changes, people aren't the biggest fans of. My hope is it hits that 85 area.
Yeah.
That's where I would be like, I got my points really well. This was one of those, having a finger on the pulse and being like, oh shit, the rumblings are happening. Why is it no one picking this up? I picked it up, I think the day after it got a release date for July. So felt good about that one for sure.
I can't believe you got Donkey Kong Bonanza. Who let this man bid on that and get it? I would have bet the house on that.
I did bet the house on it. I think 80. It's a classic moment in Fantasy Critic, and I implore everyone to have this strategy too when they are playing this game. You're gonna have the games that you bid like $2, $4, or $5 on, but there's only gonna be every year 3 or 4 titles, or most likely 2 to 3 titles at most, that are games that are not drafted that you bid on that could hit that 90 area.
Yeah.
And Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's really funny. I went after bidding all that, and then the people got hands on with it. I felt like shit because I was like, oh no, I bet $90 basically on a game that's gonna get an 82. Now we're so fucking back after that direct. It's gonna be a 99, and I'm gonna win this fucking league.
What is Witchbrook, Nick?
Witchbrook is made by the Stardew team, I think.
No, Stardew's next game is Haunted Chocolatier.
Haunted Chocolatier. Similar cozy vibe though. I forget what team it's made by, but yeah, it's supposed to hit winter 2025. I'm nervous about it, but I want it to deliver, and People love these cozy games. Especially coming after a game like Wander Stop, where that was the cozy vibe, fun indie title this year.
Mm-hmm.
That did not deliver in a major way. I think we already said 81-ish. So yeah, if this could be that, hit that 86, 87 area, I'd feel great. My big thing is, 3D Mario. I need to get it off my team at this point. Part of me actually wants it to stick around. Maybe September Direct. Maybe. Good. Connor, can you imagine?
I doubt it.
I doubt it too. I think they would be foolish to release that this year at this point.
Your counter pick was Persona 6. Good counter pick. 13 points currently on your team, and that's where we're at with Fantasy Critic. Alrighty, you want to hop into the draft?
Yeah. Right before we do, same sentiment after going through this. Exciting year, but whatever. Yeah,
it's a good year.
Agree. All right, ready?
Yep.
Do you want me to? Or are you taking the first pick?
Yeah, sure. I'll take the first pick.
Then go right ahead.
Today we are drafting video game guns. I have the first pick, and I'm going to take the portal gun. I know that it's not your typical shooty gun, but it's really creative, really unique with its puzzle mechanics. I think it's super fun. So yeah, portal gun, very iconic also with like the different colors of like the orange and blue. I think that it's very distinct in that way and very distinct in its design and look. So yeah, portal gun with my first pick.
I'm just going to be mean to Connor on this draft. I think that's the direction I'm going in. We're at the very end of a fun podcast. Let's just go and try to cut Connor off at the knees, just like this gun does. My first pick is going to be the plasma cutter from Dead Space. That is one of the most satisfying weapons in all of gaming. Lining up the leg shots, the arm shots, flipping it vertical and horizontal. It feels so good. And that is my first pick. Did you want that one, Connor?
Yes.
Did you want that one? Yeah. Oh, man. That stinks.
It's like way down my board because I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to get it a lot later, but
yeah,
here we are.
And then I'll choose the ray gun from Call of Duty Zombies because that gun is iconic as all hell and always feels amazing to pick up out of the mystery box with my second pick.
With my second pick, I'm going to pick another unconventional gun. I'm going to pick the gravity gun from Half-Life 2. I think that when it comes to like the physics and the world of Half-Life and how you interact with it with this gun, I think is one of the main aspects that makes that game so very special. So the gravity gun, picking something up and launching it at your enemies is super satisfying. That's my second pick. With my third pick, I'm going to pick another gun that I think on its own, when it comes to the shooting aspects, isn't anything special, but they put a fucking chainsaw on the gun, and that's what sets it apart. The Lancer from Gears of War, that's going to be my third pick. Badass gun right there for you.
Like, do we have to pick the BFG at this point?
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the right pick. I'm not going to pick it, though. That's not my weapon that I want. My next pick is going to be the Needler from Halo, arguably just the steal of the draft at this point. Having the most iconic Halo gun drop this far is unbelievable. When you go and stick every single one of those needles into any enemy in Halo, and then all of a sudden it bursts. Unbelievable. Great feeling in video games. One of my favorite feelings in all video games. Great mechanic. And then with my next choice, I'm going to choose not the BFG from Doom. I'm going to go with the Super Shotgun from Doom. That gun feels unfreaking believable, dude. It feels so good. And you get to use it more often than something like the BFG. So I'm going to choose the Super Shotgun from the Doom franchise.
With my fourth pick, I'm going to go with a classic. I'm going to go with the Golden Gun from GoldenEye 007. Yeah. The one-shot kill, Golden Guns only on one of the maps is super fun still to this day. We played this recently and had a great time using the Golden Gun. So yeah, we're going to go with that with my fourth pick. With my final pick, I'm going to go with my favorite zombies weapon. I'm going to go with the Thunder Gun. Just a thunderous sound that this thing makes and annihilates anything in front of you, gets you out of a pinch. It's your get out of jail free card. I love this gun so much. So yeah, that's my final pick.
That's a good pull. I wanted to get a little bit weird and go with the Apothecary Servant because that gun is one of the coolest looking weapons in all of video games.
This could all be zombies weapons, honestly.
I'm gonna go and choose with my final pick the Gold Scar from Fortnite.
Fair.
There is nothing like picking up a Gold Scar from a box, from a chest in Fortnite. It's unbelievable. It is a great feeling. That is not just a really great weapon, an iconic weapon, but it is a perfect explanation of why battle royales are great. And it is the scarcity of something and getting it and feeling like you progressed well in a game, even though you didn't just get a kill. The gold scar goes and shows that off, maybe to the best degree in any battle royale ever. And I don't know if it's going to be like shown better in a future battle royale, maybe ever. So that's my final pick.
Some honorable mentions here. I have the BFG 9000 from Doom.
Yep.
I have Ebony and Ivory from DMC. I think that those guns are cool looking, but they aren't. I think they are only iconic because Dante is using them.
Yeah.
Like they're so like tied to the character. But like if you just had those guns in front of you, you wouldn't be like, that's a really cool looking gun.
Yeah.
And then Cerberus from Final Fantasy VII, Vincent's weapon, I think just looks really fucking cool. But we haven't played Dirge of Cerberus, and obviously, like, he's not a huge part of the remake franchise yet. So we're still waiting to see him utilize this gun in the remake. So
yeah,
I think that will move the needle probably for us.
For me, I had my second favorite Halo weapon is the bow rifle. It feels so good to utilize that. And then I had a lot of similar picks to what you had. Also, shout out Gunblade from Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Because it's a gun and a blade.
Shout out to Lightning's Gunblade as well.
Dude, shout out. We're 2 hours into a podcast, Connor. Let's go. It was really funny. Connor, before this started up, I was like, oh shit, I got to grab water too. Because I just had the coffee on deck. And he's like, really? I'm like, this podcast is going to go long. And he's like, okay. And here we are. One of the longest shoots we've had in a long time. But it's always fun.
There you go. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Casual Gaming Conversation. This show is made possible by our lovely supporters over on Patreon. Specifically, the members of the Dearly Beloved tier get their name read at the end of each and every podcast. Members like V Slashing,
Gracie,
Great Direwolf,
Fathead,
Deadman,
JC,
Only One Rufus,
Chuzar,
MG Dunbar,
Mr. Munchies,
Farmer Spud,
Rocket Tater,
Nofi,
JC Falcon,
Frozen Crushes,
Swampy Bits,
Jaxie,
Sconzi,
Sconesy, Cheery Sentry,
DQ Lauder,
Stracking 1978,
Tyler D.
Speaking of Stracking 1978, shout out for the coffees. They sent us a nice care package with Dunkin' Donuts gift cards, and we really appreciate that.
That was very, very nice. You're keeping us fueled, Stracking.
Tyler D,
Scooterman,
Dasgoopy,
Dingleberg Rules,
Centuru,
Hook'em Horns,
Go Nash,
Neutral Sphere,
Charlie W,
Easton C,
Stooby Dooby,
We Nuke This Kingdom,
Crispy,
DJ Zach B,
Uli,
Jacob D,
Big Mac,
Mel Nate,
The Patty Cake,
Bear Pog,
Yogi,
Damn,
Holden M,
Colin C,
Brock,
Voodoo,
Dr. Pookie Bear,
Alex the Golden,
Andrew H,
Master Diz,
Drifter X1, Skirt,
Presto,
Maverick,
Goobs,
JMatt B3,
Ali Benali,
and Kingdom Hearts Sucks. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Casual Gaming Conversation. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.